How is it going? If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jamila Evans. I am a licensed cosmetologist and natural hair educator, and we do morning rides as I go to get my life situated while the boys are at school. When I say the boys, I'm talking about Langston and Leland. I am a twin mom and I'm a millennial wife. Hold on, because y'all look a little blurry. All right. I am about to ride through a portion of the road that does get a little choppy as far as audio and visuals, but do know that it will clear up eventually. I just live in an area that's not heavily supported with satellites, if you will. So we always talk about unconditional love. We always are saying that that's what we desire. When I say I'm talking about as a people. Like, it's a common thing to hear unconditional love, but we don't really ever hear the term unconditional joy. And what I must say is that I shared a status yesterday. One moment, y'all. Let me get y'all on the charger. I shared a status yesterday that I have so much joy, I don't even know what to do with myself. And I think for one of the first times in my life, that's a very true statement. And the reason why I'm here is because I really fought. Good morning. I really fought, and this is where the audio and the visual kind of get a little blurry, but they will clear up. I really fought to experience this level of joy, and there are a lot of components. And being 34 now, I started on this journey to unconditional joy back when I was 21. Like back when I left the house to go to college. So let's roll back, rewind all the way to 2011. That is when I was still in school. That is actually when I also decided to drop out of said university and go and get my hair license. So when I finally decided to do something for me and to follow a path and to move in a way that was making me happy, it was the beginning of my journey to what I would call unconditional joy. So hair school, the unconditional portion, let me back up. The unconditional means no matter what you're going through, no matter what's happening in your life, unconditionally you shall experience some sort of pleasure, some sort of happiness as it pertains to your life and what's going on in your mind, regardless of what's going on maybe in your reality. And so, needs to say, when I went to hair school, actually, a lot of people are surprised to know that the year that I was in hair school, I actually wasn't talking to my mother. And it was a very bittersweet situation. And it goes to speak about, having higher highs, but also having higher lows. Good morning, Anthony. And so I was having this conversation with my good friend Star, and she was just saying that she was kind of in a valley. And I get that, because baby, the valleys seem like they around every corner, right? But even in those valleys, there, after so many lessons, you get to a point where you understand that I may be, like, being aware of the fact that you're low is growth. It is mindfulness. So yes, I'm down bad right now. Yes, this is where I'm at, but also I understand that eventually this will end and I'll come back up. So as I was in hair school back in 2011, when I finally decided to do the things that make me happy, to start to go opposite of the path that was laid out for me, I was in this crazy relationship. Good morning, Inga. I was in this crazy relationship. I had to end up taking this man to court. I had an eviction on my credit score, which never happened, thankfully. It was just a lot going on, right? And as I wasn't talking to my mom that year, like, I was deeply sad. I was like, I am doing some of the things that I've always dreamt of. I'm going to this really, really nice hair school. I was failing in school. I realized that I needed to figure out, I was failing at the university. I realized I needed to figure out how I was going to provide for myself, because I was 21. Okay. I won't be on my mama's insurance. I won't be, like, no one else is going to be responsible for me but me. And so, things happen. I got my license. I did go back to the university and finish getting my degree. And if you can hear me, please let me know by dropping one in the comments. And so from there on, you're going through life and figuring it out. And the thing is, when I speak about not speaking to my mom, like, that goes to show the levels of unhealedness in my family, and also the spaces in which that we weren't strong. And so the things that, being a millennial, I feel like we have this responsibility to do the healing that our family, thank you, Inga, do the healing that our family members before us didn't do, right? So not only am I healing my traumas and my childhood and my whatever I've gone through, I'm also healing that for my mom, and also healing that for my grandmother. And then for me, my great grandmother is still alive. She's in her 90s. And so, whatever these women have not dealt with has trickled down and has passed down to me. And this isn't the same world that they grew up in, okay? This isn't the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. This is 2000. These are the 2000s, right? We have the internet, we have social media, we have the ozone layer is gone, child. We got global warming, we got different things going on. We got inflation. And I'm not saying that these people didn't deal with inflation and recessions and so on and so forth, but the pressures that be now are definitely different than, and the community is different, so the support is different. So I've been married now. Me and Dwayne have been married. If you're new here, I I have like a 90-day fiance situation. Not really. I met my husband while I was on vacation in Jamaica, and so we've been married. His name is Dwayne. We've been married for the past 5 years, and it wasn't until Dwayne and I actually got married that I realized how much dysfunction and how chaotic my life really was. But it was my norm, and I was still pushing through. So even though my life was chaotic, my family was chaotic, I refused to let that keep me down. And so it wasn't until Dwayne, this outside factor came into this situation that I realized, like, oh, this is really a hot mess, right? And so, and then after that, so 5 years back, it wasn't until after I was going through postpartum that I could no longer cope, right? I have a story time on here where I talked about why I chose to go to therapy and how that process went. So about 6, as far as taking care of twins, I was going through postpartum anxiety, not really depression, more so anxiety. I was extremely worried. Let me back up. No, there was a little depression there. And then I also was dealing with undiagnosed ADHD. So even though I signed up for therapy during my postpartum, I forgot. It took me a whole year to remember why. After being in therapy for a whole year, I thought I was signing up for therapy. I knew what I signed up for originally, but I lost the focus because I started to handle my postpartum until something happened with me and my mom. And my mom watches this. I love you, girl. Like, these are just my sentiments and my emotions and my experience from my side. My mom, yeah, girl, if you watch this, girl, it's not an attack. It's just what it is, okay? And so something had transpired with my mom, and I became undone yet again. And I really realized that I had become conditioned to be happy for my mom at the detriment and at the hands of my own happiness, right? And so once I finally decided, like, I might have to stop talking to my mom again. Like, I don't think that she understands how hurtful some of her actions, as simple as they may be, that sometimes it really makes me feel like she doesn't understand me or understand how these things affect me, right? And so my therapist recommended that I speak with her. And so I actually invited her to brunch, and I came with a one-page paper typed, because having ADHD, sometimes I'll have a lot of things to say, but I'll forget some, and then after the fact, I'm like, dang it. So I created an intro letter to the conversation so that she could be in a good space, so she could receive what I had to say. And again, the internet might get a little choppy because I'm starting to go through another area that sometimes the connection is bad. But if you're still here, thank you for listening. As y'all are coming in, for the people who are new, I am talking today about unconditional joy. We always talk about unconditional love, but we never talk about joy regardless of what's going on in your life, right? Choosing to be happy and choosing to be in a good space, even when you are handling some stuff, right? And what has transpired in my life in the past week or two has really made me realize that I worked from 2020, from 21 to 34. I worked for the past 13 years, and of course longer than that, to really get to a space where I can say, write a status like, I got so much joy I don't know what to do with myself. And so when I sat down with my mom at this brunch, I was pleasantly surprised by her level of acceptance, her level of accountability, and also her willing to apologize. Like, that was not even a possible scenario for me. I didn't even say, oh, this is how I never thought about the best case scenario. I just prepared myself for the worst, right? And so from then on, that was how I began to have a better relationship with my mom and heal and make her realize, like, ma'am, you really, the things that you do, you're doing them thinking about yourself, but they are potentially hurting the people who mean the most to you. When it comes to my dad, child, I had to tell honey Jeffrey what it was. And if y'all are clients and family and friends closely knit to me here in Fayetteville, you know about Jeffrey, right? And so what happens with my dad is that sometimes he doesn't have it for himself, right? And it's important to understand, and it's important to when you are allowing someone to be in your life, to know the full picture, to know the context of this person. This person sometimes does not have the tools, just like sometimes I don't. And so when my dad doesn't have those tools, I give him a warning, okay? I handle my dad very much so like a child. I give him a warning, but when it comes to disrespect, and when I say disrespect, I mean of my time, of my energy, of my feelings, of my space, together, or you can be out of my life. And I guess it took my dad a few times for me to block him, for me to push him away, for him to realize, if she keeps on pushing me away, there'll be a day where she doesn't open the door back up. So between those two, being that my mom and my dad created me, those relationships were affecting everything I did in my life, right? They spilled over into everything. It spilled over into my relationship with my friends, the relationship with people I meet, networking, my husband, my children. And that's why I fought so hard for for working on my healing journey. And once I got diagnosed with ADHD, I said, "Chat, it's a whole nother little component of this all." But I just was very adamant with the fact that I want to do my work for my kids. I don't want my kids at 34 years old having to do the work that I didn't do, because I'm an adult. I'm responsible, right? And so for y'all still watching, I really appreciate y'all, because this might be something that's like, girl, what you talking about? But for people who understand, and people who are tapped into it, I hope that it's beneficial. Because in this past weekend, I had 2 family functions with my dad and my siblings on my dad's side. One function then, and then another one with the same people, but my mom was included. Now, this is my mom, my dad, his wife, my siblings, on my dad's side, who I wasn't raised with. Like, all of us coming together. Me and my husband have 2 kids. One of my sisters has kids. Like, we're doing it, if you will. We're refusing to let the dysfunction live on. We're learning to love people, each other, in a healthy way. We are having the tough conversations. We're doing all of those things. So I can say that all of the turmoil in my heart and my spirit, all of the sadness, and I'm not saying that things won't still happen, but like the sadness that lingered, the sadness that was still like remaining, the lack of understanding, the lack of like wisdom, like this past weekend put me in a space where I had to just be like, Jamila, what can you complain about now? I mean, I got some other stuff to complain about, but as far as my immediate family and my one level up, nothing else besides that should matter. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come and share that today. Maybe a little dry, maybe not. Sometimes the deep stuff isn't for everybody, but yeah, I'm so excited. I'm very, very happy. This is a mental health check-in, if you will. I've been in therapy now for 2 years. The boys are 3. They'll be turning 3 on the 9th. So we have like 4 days left. Between marriage, motherhood, and putting my foot down with both of my parents, I'm like, okay, for the growth. I remember in my early 20s when I first started doing hair, like my clients who have been my clients since then, they were like, Mila, girl, you have evolved so much, you have grown so much. And I just could have never expected the level of maturity and responsibility that would be on me today. And the unapologetic like route and journey of healing. Like I refuse. I don't care whose toes I step on. I don't care who, like, pieces. I have to have peace. I can't do nothing else without that. So I hope that this resonates with someone. I hope that it helps somebody. I hope that this encourages you to go and work through those tough emotions, to partner with a therapist, to realize who can remain in your life and who may have to go, to give people last chances, to lay out to people, this is how you will handle me. And if you cannot handle me this way, then either you need to go do some work or you need to get on. Okay? Like, yeah. To not be dependent on relationships that don't mean well for you, that don't serve you anymore. You look up one day and you realize, like, oh, this don't serve me no more. Like, you know how you were, like, for instance, the boys. Today I'm putting shoes on the boys to go to school. And I'm like, dang, Langston, these shoes ain't fitting you no more. I didn't just buy the shoes, but when I bought them, they were too big. So I bought them a little space, thinking they would give us some time, right? I put them shoes on the day. I said, oh, sir, you need bigger shoes. Your foot almost literally can't go in the shoe, right? And so at some point in time, once you start growing, you grow out of shoes, you grow out of clothes, you can't fit in that space anymore. And for you to do so will make you uncomfortable. You don't deserve to be uncomfortable, right? You didn't work as hard as you work. It's your birthright to be comfortable. Now, of course, we have to grow. Sometimes growth is uncomfortable, but still, like, once you have leveled up and you can say you got your award, you got your accomplishments, you can pat yourself on the back. Once you pat yourself on the back and you look around and you make an assessment, if the people who are around you didn't grow and elevate with you and haven't met you where you're at, you have to leave them behind. So I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm almost at the salon. I have one quick client while the boys are at school today, a little VIP situation. So I appreciate you all. Thank you for tuning in. We are literally 50 people away from 1,500 subscribers on here. So thank you to all the subscribers. Again, we start off the year at like 200 subscribers. So it's amazing to know that the things that I'm talking about really are resonating with you all. I feel like I'm an everyday, chick, if you will. I feel like the things that I deal with and are challenged with, like a lot of us do, and we're just not talking about them. And then we think that we're going through them alone, and then we're sad. But there's no need to be sad, because some of this stuff is outside of our control, and the things that we can control are our mindset and our joy and our peace and our boundaries. So yes, I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.